Hey, this is Jay with the Fantastic Forum, and I'm here with Jeremy Whitley, the writer of Princeless. So, tell us a little about Princeless. What is it about?
Princeless is a book about a princess who's locked away in a tower by her evil parents and decides to rescue herself rather than waiting around to be rescued. So she teams up with her guardian dragon and heads off to go save her sisters as well.
So why did you decide to write the story? What inspired you?
My biggest inspiration for Princeless was my daughter. I wanted to have a book that I can share with her and to be able to share my love of comics with her. And I feel like there's not enough out there in the market right now that's one, appropriate for kids and that I'd want to put in front of her, and that has a character that I would want her to aspire to be like. And I feel like, especially in popular culture for girls, a lot of the characters they're supposed to aspire to be like, they're supposed to like, are sort of the princess type characters who are passive. They don't have any kind of hand in their own fate, and that's not the kind of girl I want to raise. So I created Princeless to have this action hero female character who could really hold her own and who really was a hero and not just a princess.
All right. Now the hero of this is a African American character. Do you often write like characters of color?
I do. I tend to write a lot of characters of color in my books. A lot of that has to do with my family. My wife is black. My daughter is half black. I'm really close with her family, and then my side of the family is mixed white and Hispanic. So I feel like there's not enough representation for people out there. I feel like there's this weird trend where we keep creating more and more of the same types of characters, and they lack any kind of diversity or personality. And I think that's a huge lost opportunity for not only for people who are making stories and want to make good stories, but I feel like my wife, her sisters, none of them were ever into comics, and why should they be? Because there's no representation for them there. I mean, how can you expect somebody to pick up this sort of empowerment story and not see themselves represented at all and still want to be a part of that?
Okay. This is the first volume is finished, is done. When is the next volumes coming out?
The next stuff we've got coming out is our short story collections. The first one is solicited in Diamond for July, so it'll be available in September. And then the second part of the short stories will be solicited in September, so it'll be available in November. And then the second volume will start, in earnest in January. So we'll get another full story of 4 issues before we take hopefully a shorter break this time and move into the next one. So.
Okay. I know one of the short stories at the end of this volume 1 was a Skull Kickers crossover. How did that come about?
Well, my artist for the first volume, Goodwin, is really good friends with Jim Zub. Just they frequent sort of the same places on the internet and know each other through working in comics. And somebody told them, "Oh, you guys should do a crossover," and they were like, "Haha, yeah, we should do that." And then it actually happened. Those things don't usually materialize, and that was they both thought about it, and they're both fantasy comics are pretty unique these days, especially creator-owned stuff. So they really wanted to make that happen and sort of cross-promote these two brands. And while Skull Kickers is a much more adult story usually than ours, it still has that common thread of fantasy and comics.
All right. Are there any plans to take Princeless beyond the comic space, maybe in the animation?
I'd love to. We've talked to some people. We don't have anything currently moving forward, but it is definitely something I'd like to do. I'd like to make it an animated series more than anything. But I'd be glad to get it out there at all. So I'm pretty possessive about it. So I want to make sure it's done right and it's done the way that it's supposed to be done. But I'd love to see it done.
Okay. Now, can you say into the camera, explain or give me one word to describe Comic-Con 2012?
One word to describe Comic-Con 2012. Insane. It's insane out here.
Nice. All right, thank you for talking. Everyone, this is Jeremy Whitley, the writer of Princeless.